bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Ramirez, Warrior of Love, and today you're in Soul Talk, and we have a very special guest. Her name is Crystal Lynn Blackmore, and she's a very sweet, beautiful person that I would like to read you a little bit who she is. Besides that, she's a mom, and she have also a job. She's very magical, and let me tell you who she is. She's an artist and a painter. She's photographer. She's a Reiki practitioner. She is a tarot and oracle reading, and she channels spirits and message from the light and verbally through her hands. She has been connected to the spirit her whole life in the levels that she acknowledged in real until 2019. And of course we have questions to ask her and to know a little bit more about her, and really thank you Crystal for accepting my invitation for being Soul Talk, and thank you for sharing a little bit of your story and your awakening and your process, because many of the listeners, they do not is the first time that they have in contact with you. We never know, or some of them they already know you and they adore you, like David Rito, that is saying hello ladies, wonderful ladies, and they already know. But many people, it might be the first time that they hear a light worker and a beautiful healer like you talking. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
I would like to ask you. I am a true believer that all the ones that we're working with ourselves, and we're already in this path, we have many awakenings at the same time. So but in the last one is the one that took us where we are now, and sometimes it was just something about just understanding or just like aha moment, but many aha moments comes with painful situations. Some of them are divorce or deaths or a deep trauma or something happened in our lives, or we were sick. Like in my case, I was very sick, and I was just getting worse. It was or heal myself or I would die. That was no option, and that's what it took me in the last awakening to where I am now. But what it took you here to?
Mm. Oh, like you said, how we've been through many levels of awakening. I feel like my awakenings through life have been, I feel, mostly trauma-based, things that I've had to survive through. When I was a child, I would see things, and if I said anything about that to my parents, the answer was usually your eyes are playing tricks on you, or that don't worry about that, or that's nothing, or just the typical things that would make me not worry or whatever. So I've always been, I think, awake in my life, and then but not really conscious of what that meant or what that was. And then there's just been moments throughout my whole life where I've needed to trust my inner knowing, my inner intuition, without knowing what's going to happen or where that's going to lead. The latest being in 2019, with a situation that occurred in my family, which I won't go into details to remain like in our privacy with our situation, but it led me into more of what I couldn't explain through my childhood that I was experiencing on a spiritual level. And this transition, um, I don't, how do I explain this? Basically, I was coming into the knowing of things that I couldn't explain, a psychic knowing. I was starting to see visions again, hear things, my, which led me into research about what all of it could be. And I had remembered my dad at one point in my life, many years ago, talking about some sort of spiritual awakening that he was having. And that's the only thing that kept going through my mind, that of what could be happening to me at this time. And like, I was coming into a deeper knowing of what God was to me, what that meant. Like, I don't even know. Like, I came out of certain religious teachings. I was raised Christian in my family, and so in my life, I was this perceived way. But then this shift happened, and it's so much within me changed, and it led exactly to today with myself, coming into things that I didn't even know about myself, that I could channel light language, which I also came to find that could also be called speaking in tongues, in different religions or cultures. I came to know it as light language when it first came through, and I discovered other people were doing this too. And man, this last transition in the last few years has led me to so much, and it's been hard. It's been a roller coaster along with discovering, but yeah, I feel like I could just ramble on.
I feel that many of us, when we started, we were afraid even to say what it was happening to us, because we were afraid of the many words that were like forbidden. She's crazy,
Yeah,
or
yes.
you're a witch, or things like that. Because people, obviously, they're always gonna judge what they don't understand, and if they start understanding, that's how they start accepting us. So we were also afraid of the rejection of the people. So that takes a lot of guts from all of us to actually stand with ourselves and defend who we are, and start believing in us and what we do.
Yeah,
And
I'm still working on that.
one. And I language is a tough one. Even if I was already healing in Reiki, even if I was doing already Theta healings, and I was doing a bunch of stuff with energy, multidimensional energy, etc., etc. And once in a while, the light language came out. I will hold it. I will hold it inside of me, and I sing it inside of me, so the people will not listen to me until
Kept it
finally,
into.
yeah, until finally start coming out and start believing in myself. And but I did took some training that helped me to believe in myself, that I was not crazy, that actually that was normal, that I do not have to understand it. Do you went into any kind of training?
Do I what?
Do you went to any kind of training for light language?
No. I just looked up well, I was in groups. At the beginning of 2020, after the lockdown started, I came into um, Jesse's group. I'm
Mhm.
blanking on the Warrior of Light group.
Yeah.
And I discovered so much through that. And then I discovered what was trying to come through me. And then it's just been research, research, research. And yeah, no training, just letting myself surrender to the energy, and believe that it's actually coming through, and I'm not making it up. Like, I'm not creating this. I'm opening myself to this.
I don't think we can create. We can, because at the beginning I remember I was talking and it was like, do I am inventing this? Is like, no, I'm feeling this. this word and so forth. I don't think no one that actually do well. It's possible, but the majority that we do light language, we are not inventing it. It's just coming out from our heart. Usually, it's not
It
that.
I can't. It's unexplainable.
Sometimes we understand what we're saying, and sometimes we don't. In my case, in your case, do you understand all the time what you're saying, or
I haven't tried to get that deep. I just let it come through, and if I'm trying to tune into what exactly maybe the idea is or the healing focus is, I'll try to be specific about that if it comes through, if I can feel what it is, but not generally. I don't try to, I just kind of,
yes? I went into more into the galactic story about it because it's like it didn't feel earthy. My light language, and it felt earthy, so I started like, hey, where this is coming from. So I went into the ramp that I originally am from Sirius, and then but I have lived in Pleiades, I have lived in, and my same family, galactic family, is the one that it was giving me that information. Whatever they're doing, do you have research in that?
I connect a lot with my Lemurian family, and I all of my galactic family, my Pleiadian, Arcturian. I oh my gosh, I'm getting full. They're here right now. They're like, oh, tingle, tingle, tingle. They're like, thank you. We wanted you to say that. Yeah, I channel their energy quite frequently, and the angelic realms is what I connect to mostly.
Yes, their energy is completely different. Like,
Oh, it's coming.
just let me know. If you wanna do like language, just let me know. But yes, I have felt that even the mission of each one of them it is different, and whatever their message or their transmission is, in any shape or form, that it can be directly channeling or receiving the message or light language or painting because you're a painter too, or whatever comes the message, it comes different depending on who's giving the message. Correct? Can you explain a
Yes.
little bit more because many people are this is the first time they're listening to this, and some of them they already have experience. But please,
I I hope that I explain something to where it makes sense because I'm still learning too. So um, when I connect consciously into different frequencies, I can tell like the frequencies feel different for me. I can tell. Um, how do I explain that in human language? um, that is the part I'm not very good at.
try to do it through your emotion, because or else there is no way to say it. How it feels. How it
When
feels.
I, for example, okay, an example that's coming through for me to say right now, when I am connecting in with my Lemurian family, that energy, that energy feels so light, and there's so much love. And when the energies come through, I notice myself wanting to sing. Like their energies want to sing through me. Like they want to, like they want to like a lot different tones want to come through, and it sounds like a little more, for me, more high pitched sounding. I don't know how to explain this very good. um, how it
It's different.
feels. Go ahead.
It's different tonalities and vibrations. That's how
Yes.
I feel, right?
Yes.
But yes, it is. And do you work with people with this when you do your Reiki?
No, not yet. I have been going through so many fast transitions, and beyond my spiritual work, there is there's so much in my life that's happening right now, and I've not been able to get my get myself and my practice where it needs to be, but we're getting there, and we're taking it day by day, and soon this will all be a part of the whole thing. Like I have to include it into my healing. It has to be like light language has to be a part of what I do with Reiki. It will be there.
Yes. And why make you decide to choose Reiki as a practice for
Oh,
healing?
it was honestly when I started getting more into finding out in 2020 during Jesse's retreat. uh, I discovered
Winjak.
Madia helped us discover our healing hands, our golden healing hands. And that night, she said, after we get done, go use this, use what has been activated with, like, you have this now, like, go use it. And that night, after the activation, after that whole session, I'm laying in bed and I am I am believing full force. Like, after experiencing Madia and her energy and what came through during that activation that night, I believed full force, and whatever was going to come through was possible for me as well. And I believed in my healing hands for the first time in my life. And that night, I had problems in this wrist right here. And I injured it when I was young, shaking my hands around, trying to show my mom how fast I could shake my hands around. And I messed up something in my wrist for the rest of my days and until 2020. And I could not do push-ups. I could not put weight on my wrist. I could not do anything. I did I activated my golden healing hands that night in bed, and I visualized my energy healing that within myself. And I did it for about 20 minutes. And I swear, I have not had the same issues in my wrist ever since. And I knew that since that was able to come through me and I experienced it and witnessed it and felt it, it almost feels like I've never been injured. Like, it's still sensitive sometimes, but I can do a push-up. Like, I can put weight where I never was able to do that completely. And I knew that something was activated within me that I'm meant to share. Like, this needs to be shared. And Reiki found me. It was like I started seeing things about energy healing, about Reiki, and then just Reiki wouldn't stop coming in my mind, like something about Reiki, something. And so I started looking up things and I looked up so much material that I could for free, because at the time I could not afford anything, no classes for myself or anything, but I felt pulled to this. So I found free YouTube videos that were Reiki 1, 2, and 3, and I was starting to watch them to just try and teach myself. And I've just been like self-learning and healing on myself and my kids. And then in March of this year, I got level 1 attuned with Jamie, um, Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been like, I know that I'm meant to keep this going.
I did study one and two. It was in about 20 years ago. I did work on that with and practice, and then in 2015 or 14, that's when I did the three. And but then, even if I was working with people, it always wasn't back. It's like there's something more, but I always very curious about wanting to learn more things and more.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes like in different branches. The one that goes like more in oracles and things like that, and Kabbalah, etc. There's a lot of in that in here, and there's the other one that is NLP, hypnotherapy, and theta healing, and it goes more into a different. There's so many,
Mm-hmm.
but they're kind of divided, and which one would you like to, if you could, and you have accessibility to those classes, in which area would you like to go?
I don't even know. Which do you mean? Which area?
Because like I have seen that there's the Reiki, and in the Reiki also there comes a more healings. There are thousands of healings modalities, and classes of, I don't even know how many they are. Every day I see something new.
Yes, there's many different things, and I'm really interested in everything that I find out. I love Reiki. I want to keep doing that. I want to incorporate light language. I want to get into quantum healing. I know that I'm led to do grid work somehow, so I want to. I'm going like I want to get into every single thing that I can find because I know that spirit is supposed to come through me. Like I'm supposed to do all of the things.
Yes, I understand. And I know you do activations in your group. That you have for everybody, for all the spectators. Crystal have two or three groups,
I have two.
regarding activations and where they do like language and so forth. And the information is in the description. If you want to see it, you can find that in there. If you want to sign in, also. And but many people are going to be seeing the video, even not right now, but later on in the replays. Can you explain a little bit what is an activation?
What is an activation? So I like to think of it as another word for like just a meditation where we are calling on our light team and our higher selves to come in and assist us and bringing in energies to assist in healing and whatever we're trying to focus on. And in our group, we once a month in soul song, or I'm sorry, once a month in our group, we focus on one point or one area, and then that is how it would. That's how it would go. We would just focus on that, and then that would be our activation. However, spirit leads us to go.
I noticed that in one of the groups that you do the activations, you guys use also techno music, correct?
Yes, and we were in my first group that I made, electronic soul activation. That was I realized light language first coming through myself when I was listening to music. It would come through my hands, and I would be signing things that I've never done before. And I had found several people in groups, in different groups that I was in on Facebook that had also expressed light language the same way. So I had found that I wanted to share this, and my group Electronic Soul Activation was originally with the idea of my activations being led with music, so that I could vibe and do that.
Yes, I noticed that, and thank you for your answer about activations, because I believe everybody we need to. I call the activations like a update, like a computer. You know, when you have to click the update button, so like that your
Yeah.
computer is up to date. That's how I call the activations, because we all need different kinds of activation for something that we are working on ourselves. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, and mm, I seen that you also you're an artist like myself,
Yes.
and do you notice that between through the art actually you do also this channeling? There's
Yes. I'm painting codes. I'm writing codes. And what comes through a lot. It, okay, so my painting. Let's backtrack a little bit because I didn't even start painting until this year. Seriously, like getting back into it. It started in March, and um, I painted a couple little 8 by 10 little paintings that were just very simple. And then after that, something sparked in me, and I knew that I had to keep painting no matter I what no matter if I needed an idea or not. Like the spirit has just been telling me with every painting, you don't need to plan what to do. Just if you need an idea, think of a shape and put the shape on there and then go from there. And usually it's a spiral for me. So, and I learned that I've been painting portals. So I'm going to keep sharing portals, I guess, and sharing these codes.
like for me it's different. I've been painting for long 40 years, and for me they send me first the images, and sometimes I'm very busy doing other stuff and I just receiving the image and they start adding colors or forms or this or that or the message. This is the message. How would you how you would or they put me challenges like how would you express this emotion? And this is like it's a heart. Okay, do I just paint a heart? Like put emotion to the heart. How would you do it?
Love that.
You do this and how would you express this emotion? It's like oh gosh, now you're putting me to think. And they start sending me images and images and images until it's like okay, let me get a canvas so you can let me do all this stuff until I actually start painting it. That's when they let me breathe sometimes.
That is amazing that that comes through like that for you. I've been starting, like, I want them to tell me what to paint and give me ideas, and I'll usually draw like oracle cards to get an idea of what message I need to put out there through my art. Yeah, and I'll get lots of different inspiration however I can, but that is amazing. I love that.
And it also happened with poetry. I write poetry in Spanish.
Me too.
And I did not knew that I was a channeler. I never thought I could. And I've been writing poetry and read my poetry and so forth. And in fact, yesterday, well, no, Saturday, we have the presentation of a book that I participated in that anthology. And but the funny part was when finally I discovered I was a channeler was when finally I saw the being in front of me and start talking, and it was in the same way I write my poetry. And it was like, oh my God, you're the one being dictating me my poetry all these years.
Goodness.
And I was like, oh my God, it's like I thought it was mine. And it's like that was my ego talking, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's not mine. It was my channeling. Do you feel like that when you write poetry?
Yes. I now that you mention that, and like I've written ever since I was young. Like I have a whole book of poems, and I actually went back and Spirit led me to reread some of them, and I remember I went back to one that was called I can't even remember it now. It's Galactic something, but it was about aliens, and I was about 15 at the time, and I was writing a poem about what I knew was out there, like at 15. And I thought I was just writing poems, and clearly, and back then, I was so connected and I didn't even know how connected. And I was drawing things. And now when I look at the things that I was drawing back then, I think it's memories from a past lifetime. I don't know, but things, I'm just putting pieces together where oh, it's crazy.
The thing is, yes, I agree with you. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that we have many awakenings because it takes us to a different level every time. And unfortunately, that something that I know as my experience that doesn't have to do for everybody. That every time we go into a dark night of the soul, into those big transitions that are very painful and so forth, we go to the next stage.
Yep.
And that's when we're in the way we paint, in the way we talk or think or whatever, our conscience have changed. Have you noticed that?
Yes. Yes. I'm going through a pretty dark spot in my life currently, and I know, and I just know I'm up leveling. I know.
But this time you can get out of it. You're gonna get
Yes, I
out of it.
have the tools.
Yes, and before it was more scary.
It's still scary,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel as like I'm defeated.
Yes, I agree. Because like our depressions actually they're different than in the past. In my depressions I thought that I was never gonna come out of there.
Oh, same. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But now it's like, oh, okay, I just have to surrender to this emotion and feel it and so forth, and it's gonna pass faster. And it do pass faster, right?
Yes, and breathe. I need to remember to breathe more. I have to tell myself, okay, you're shallow breathing again. That means we're not processing.
Yes. Can you explain a little bit of the spectators, what it is for you, the Dark Night of the Soul? It might be different definitions for other people, but none of them is wrong or right. It's just different for each one of us.
I would say that I went through a deep stage of that in 2019. My latest, well, I think I'm going through another right now, but before to get to here was 2019. And what was occurring was I don't know how to explain this, but it was like I was, I thought I was going nuts. So my my reality on the outside was chaos, and it was like everything was crumbling around me. I didn't under I thought I was creating all of it, or and then I was in some instances because of how I was handling what was changing. I guess that could be like cognitive dissonance. I wasn't wanting to accept the changes that were happening, so I made it harder on myself, going deeper into that dark place, and just like not. I feel like it didn't have to be as hard as it did, but I didn't have the tools then when I was first going through it, and I felt so completely alone. And that's when I started reaching out to more groups online. But how do I? It's like I don't even know like how to explain. Man, I'm so bad at please forgive me. I'm so bad at explaining these things in terms that are easy to understand. If you've never been conversed or taught about these things.
Don't worry, don't worry. We all have different ways to express it and to say different things. And I know that even just the word interview is intimidating when this in reality is a conversation. It's just a conversation, and so don't worry about that. What I would say in what I believe it is the dark night of the soul is when we go into a deep emotion and we're feeling that emotion so deeply that it takes us to listen to the voices of our ego and at the same time our higher selves. And in that moment, that's when we have to make the choice which voice we're gonna listen. The ego is gonna take us deeper into a depression, into a dark side, and it's gonna take us long time to actually get out of there. And when we're listening to our higher self and so forth, that is at the same time, it is gonna get us out easier. So that's why it's important to surrender to you can understand the two voices at the same time, so you
Yes,
can get out faster from that emotion where you are. And when you come out, the good thing about that is when you come out of that place where you come out way wiser because now you came to understand a bigger truth, and your conscience just boom blew up, and like you have more self-respect, more self-love, etc., 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 right?
yes, yes. You explained that perfectly. Like, thank you. I did not know how to say that. Thank you so much. Oh yes.
Yes, at the beginning when they used to tell me like just surrender and surrender to the emotion, it's like, what do you mean? It was
Mm.
hard to understand those words at the beginning because you don't know. It's like surrender to what emotion? I'm very depressed. It's like you want me more depressed? It's like, it's like
Yeah, we're supposed to feel it, and then and
but then,
and then feel it more.
yes, understand why. It's like okay, I'm sad. Okay, I admit that I'm sad. Why I'm sad? And that is important. That knowing,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what started. I had to think about the why, and that took me deeper because I've started figuring out a ton of whys after 2019 and into 2020 and all the way to here. And now I'm unlocking all the whys, and it's been waves and waves.
Yes, it comes in waves. The sadness comes in waves. But once that you understand your why you do what you do, and your passion to do what you do, you're in the other side already. You just have to look around. It's like, oh my God, I just crossed the river,
Yes.
right? When you mentioned that when you were a little girl, you were you were awoke, but you did not knew that you were that was normal. Because yes, I agree. In the society, when a kid told, "Oh, I have my little friend," and your parents can see your little friend, they're gonna say, "Oh no, you're inventing, or you're crazy, or that is not happening, or something else." But
Yeah.
how was your awakening? So you came to understand that what you were seeing or listening or sensing, it was true. Now,
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Now that you know that what you're sensing, feeling, hearing, etc., it is true. How you came to understand that it was true? Because there was a block of the religion and society and
Yes. So it was basically like this last wave of transition into more of my spiritual self, where I'm not hiding, where I'm not denying what I'm feeling. I'm a feeler. I can feel everything through my body. Like when spirit comes through, I'm tingling. I'm feeling it. I don't get a lot of visions, um, like in my physical reality, but in my mind, if I want to tune in, I can see things if they allow. But this last wave, since coming, it was like in my whole life, I always have said to myself, I believe in paranormal. I have always known I'm connected to spirit. But when it all started happening again in adulthood, that is when I was like, okay, I can think for myself what is real. I can feel my experience. I know what I'm experiencing, and I'm not crazy. And a lot of people that are deemed crazy are not crazy either. They're just perceiving a different reality that not all of us are perceiving. And um, I think just knowing that I don't have anyone else to be like, no, that's not real. So that's how I know it's real. Like no one is like going to decide my experience for me, and I think that's the difference now.
and something else that I have noticed in our path and that we chose uh, work with ourselves and understanding energy and working with energy, it is a very lonely life because it's not so easy to go and, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and talk with a neighbor about spirits or about energy or
Yes, my online community is where I feel most safe. And the people that I've met through these groups, through Jesse's group, and that's where I've gotten to know that like I'm not alone in any of this.
but even I don't know in my case or maybe the question I wanted to ask in my case what I've been noticing that yes it is great that we have these communities there, thank god there is internet and there is online groups and we're discovering that we're not alone in the world, that we're many and we're growing more and more in the world, but at the same time it's not local
Right.
and you have the I get hungry to talk with people who I am and not hold it. You know, it's like why? Because I don't want to. They bully my daughter or things like that, so I have to hold it back. And many times, so it is easy to stay at home and just connecting to internet, so I don't have to go outside and hold it from the
Yeah.
people outside, right?
Yes, I relate. I resonate with that.
But how did you do it? How your family took it?
I A lot of my family don't even know completely all about my different transitions right now. It's like I'm still in kind of a soft coming out stage on a lot of different levels. Um, but my immediate family that I'm with now, it's it's not really, they accept it. It's not really like we don't talk a lot about it. But not like in a bad way, just like in a way that it's just like not talked about a lot. Um, and it's nothing that I feel bad about, but I don't feel as, I would say, comfortable saying a lot of what goes on in my world around my immediate family.
There's still an afraidness part.
I think so, yeah, of being judged, kind of.
Yeah, I did got separated 4 years ago, and it was mainly because of that. It's like, oh, they want me the Monica back, the one that don't used to meditate, the one that used to be, and it's like, yeah, but I this is the Monica that I always been. I just remember, and I just went back to myself, who I really was, and I know I'm happy. you know, I'm happy because it doesn't matter. This is who I am, and I honor and respect myself. But
And
yeah,
I'm just finding out who I am.
yeah, it's tougher, and for the people that are not in this path, they're just waking up and they're finding out that there is a bigger reality outside of themselves, and they're listening to this video. It is not easy. I'm not gonna say that it's so easy. It is awesome when you can be yourself and talk who you truly are and your beliefs. And for all of us, it is very hard, and it's sometimes gets very lonely, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish there was a like a little piece of the state at least where we all live together.
That's
So,
why I made my groups. I wanted to be more of like a being able to create that connection to where we don't have to be feeling that lonely.
I know. Online, I have many friends, and thank God for that, and sisters and family in that way online. The problem is locally. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Maybe we can meet in person.
Yes.
We need to plan a retreat.
Yes. Well, yes, I was trying to plan a retreat, but right now with the pandemic, still hard to get a hold on everybody.
Yes, I understand.
When you channel, do you channel messages from also, or it's only light language? Like, have a knowing that this is.
With my on my Hopes Visions page, I was sharing tarot and oracle readings daily for a while. And with my readings, at the like my routine was to draw my cards and then channel a full-on message of what would come through. And I would, if I was like working with the angelic realm, I would call upon that to flow through me and bring a message from them or wherever I want to connect or wherever feels like. So yeah, I definitely let yeah. Yeah.
Do do you have a message that you would like to share with us?
Oh.
I remember that it is relevant this time.
um let's see. Yeah, we do have a little bit of time left, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right. When we were talking about our galactic guides earlier, I was feeling a lot of energy wanting to come through with that. um if we would like to tune in, um, I'm feeling some Lemurian codes wanting to come through. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Let's tune in. Let us tune in. And I would just have everybody close down your eyes and place your hands on your heart. Feel into our heart centers. And in this moment, we're just calling on our higher selves. We're calling on our Lemurian family to assist in any codes that would like to come through, any messages that would like to come through at this time. And I'm going to go ahead and send a golden rainbow cord from my heart center to everyone in this container so that we can all be connected and let these lights flow through. And I'm just going to focus now on connecting into the Lemurian collective and see what wants to come through. If my hands start going, you may feel free to watch, or if it feels better to close your eyes, you can keep your eyes closed. But just be receptive, that's all. Calling also on the energy of Reiki to assist in this moment as well. Iyama ayashna iyawa, iyama ayana iyashna iyawa aya i, iyama aya ayashna iyawa, iyama yawa iyana ayashna, iyama ayana ayashna iyawa ayana, iyama ayana iyashna iyama aya. Iyawayana ayashna i. Focusing on our heart centers, we're releasing anything that no longer serves us in this moment. Iyama ayashna iyawa, iyama ayashna i. Iyama ayashna iyawa ayana iyama ayashna i. Iyamaya ayashna iyamaya a, iyawayana ayashna iyawa ayana i. Iyamaya ayashna iyawayana iyawa, iyawayana iyawayashna i. Iyamayana iyawayana iyawa, iyawayana iyawa. Iyamayana iyawayana iyashna iyawa, iyawayana iyawaya iyashna iyawa. Niyana ayashna i. And I'm hearing if we could move our hands down to our solar plexus energy center. There's a lot of releasing energy that wants to come out through this as well. Just focusing all of our attention on that center, remembering the power that we hold within. Connecting into our sovereignty. Iyama aya iyashna iyawayana iyawa, iyama ayashna iyawayana i. Iyama yawa iyashna iyawayana iyawa, iyama ayashna iyawa, iyawaya iyawa. something that's coming through that feels very important to say is that you get to choose for you what is best for you. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. You are on your path for you. And your power is your own. And you can call on that anytime. It's all in here. Focusing on our breath now. Let's just take 3 deep breaths in, going in, holding at the top, and releasing. Breathing in, holding, and releasing. Breathing one more time in, hold, and release. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. And thanking all of the energies that assisted in this moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I felt that there were one voice that I recognized that it was Syrian. I don't know if you heard that. And there was the vibration. I felt that. And it was definitely the Murian, but there were some angels in there too.
Oh,
That's,
I'm sweating. I'm like,
yes,
if anything else came through, that is so wonderful. Oh my gosh.
I just felt that energy. And thank you.
Thank you for that confirmation.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And beautiful. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
A Reiki master, traveling, healing around the world, at like festivals, at music festivals, dancing, and just like doing healing in the crowd. Like that's like yeah, just doing lots of healing wherever I can go.
Yes. That is a beautiful dream. And you will. You will.
I feel it. I
Hold that.
feel it.
Yes. Hold that thought and hold that emotion. And you will. There's something else that you would like to add?
Nothing off the top of my head. I wish I had brought art to share. I didn't even think about that. We're talking about my art and I didn't even bring anything to share. I do share everything on Hope's Visions and that I can remember to share through life's moments. Yeah, but nothing else. Nothing else specific is coming to mind. Just a lot of energy.
Yes. It gets hot when
I,
you're in the energy.
my hands are like, woo!
For everybody that wants to contact Krista, please, it's in the description. She have in there group's information and her blog also. So you can contact her there. It's in the description of this video. And later on, it's gonna be also in YouTube if you wanna see it again. And also, one thing that I would like to talk about in the Soul Talk program, we survived thanks to your donations, and I want to thank very much for all the people that have done donations to Soul Talk, to the podcast of Warrior of Love. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for that. And I would like to announce what we are going to have the next week, because we have also very interesting guests and very beautiful people. The next Sunday, that is the podcast of the Heart of the Artist. we're gonna have a Carol Plum. She's a visual artist, and that's the next Sunday at 6 p.m. And in Soul Talk the next Monday at 7 p.m. we have Tracy Montgomery. She's a coach and she's an STR practitioner too. And that is at 7 o'clock. And all those times are Central Time, guys. And that's where I'm located. I'm sorry. But thank you so much for listening to us, and please share the video. If this help you out, share the video. We will appreciate that very much. And thank you for listening to us. And if you're seeing the replay, #replay. We will appreciate that very much too. Thank you. Krista, it really was my pleasure to finally meet you in Zoom.
Yes, thank you.
Well, one day we will meet in person too. I
Yes.
promise that.
So many hugs.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you to everybody. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit